When last you guys got together on Icewind, Rime and the Frostmaiden, you had found yourselves in the town of Bremen. To give you a little refresher on the world, you guys are in the north region called the Icewind that's locked in a perpetual winter that the locals are blaming on the evil goddess of winter's fury named Ariel. You've been doing things to basically survive and help the 10 towners while making a living. The local community here is called the 10 Towns. You've done some things. You have rescued the shipment of mead from the city of Goodmead from attacks by ogre-like creatures called verbeegs. And you rescued a couple of inbred citizens from Dugan's Hole in a town that had been besieged by winter wolves and the awakened mammoth companion of a former frost giant that had been killed by prior adventurers. You helped a bunch of dwarves that had been attacked by a yeti delivering iron ingots down from the Dwarven Valley to the city of Bryn Shander, and got some gems that were quite valuable in exchange for that. And you made your way over to the town of Targos. You were searching for a murderer that you'd been hired to find by Hillen Trollbane. Finding your way to Targos. There in Targos, you learned a couple of things. You learned about a young man that had been basically ran off with a bunch of strange, you assumed to be cultists, bearing these dark crystalline amulets after he had found a similar sort of shard of material while out in the wilderness and had totally changed his personality. His mother then left to tend the bar by herself, was struggling to keep up. You learned about that. You learned about a sea monster in the town of Bremen, which is where you made your way. You also in Targos had learned about a missing adventure guide. A gentleman by the name of Garrett had taken a group up to planned to take a group up to the summit of Kelvin's Cairn, the large, dormant volcanic mountain in the middle of the 10 towns, and had disappeared. His dog, apparently, or not returned. His dog had broken free and came running and led you to his other owner, his husband, who begged that if you were heading in that direction to please see if you'd heard word from his party that had left out of Caer Konig. Interestingly enough, Caer Konig played again in rumors that you heard in the town of Bremen. You'd heard about invisible people stalking the city, apparently, of Caer Konig. Just while you were in the bars, the five bars to the five brothers, you'd heard rumors about invisible foes that were causing robberies in that city while sort of overhearing rumors. And you also learned that there were two towns in the 10 towns that had castle keeps. Caer Konig was one of them, and Caer Deneval was the other one. And that was important because the young man that ran off with the cultists, they had said would take him to their castle. And those are the two cities that had castles that the barkeep woman knew of. Other things that you know about that are going on is that fishermen have gone missing in the city of East Haven, and that all of the fish out of East Haven have stopped flowing, and that the food supplies are dwindling. You guys chose to deal with the sea monster that had been besieging the town of Bremen. You met up with a gentleman in the city that thought you were there to, he thought he had hired to catch fish. He was willing to give you use of a couple of his boats, one of which obviously was damaged to some degree. And in exchange for a silver piece per knucklehead trout that you guys brought in. You finally agreed to do so and took the boats out onto the lake. But not before you were warned about the sea monster by a local naturalist that asked you to take any notes that you could and record your observations for greater learning, basically. He had warned you about the dangers about the missing fishermen. You made your way out onto the lake, where you did indeed encounter said creature. It briefly spoke to you and told you that its job was to make the people of Bremen suffer. And you guys did glorious battle with said monster, never learning its name or learning who gave it said job or how it came to be able to speak or why it needed the people of Bremen to suffer per se. But you did eventually do it in and kill said beast. In the process of this battle, both of your rowboats were badly damaged and sunk beneath the waves. One of them is not really sunk, but is just sort of turned topside and is under the water, but kind of like not all the way down in Davy Jones' locker yet. You'd found yourselves on top of a shipwreck that was locked in the ice out on the lake. Many of you ditched as you found yourselves in the water and sinking and freezing with freezing cold water, ditched your winter cloaks, lest you be pulled down and sunk under the icy waters. And I think that is where we find ourselves. Now I will set the scene for you with some audio accompaniment. And you're out on the lake. It's starting to get dark. And the water is sort of splashing up against the sunken shipwreck. And the cold is starting to really, really become an issue for you. The head of the sea monster is still there. Its dead body is sort of lapped up onto the shipwreck a bit. So he sort of is like draped over this this like wreck here. Ordella, you're up on a mast that is floating. Yatara, you're on the boat. Granite Guts, you're on the boat. Leonard, you have pulled yourself up onto one of the ice floes along with Harkus. Your floating flamethrower is there. Things are starting to get dark and starting to get cold. I don't remember who all said that they had ditched their winter coats to not sink, but I know some of you have. So, honesty here on who no longer has winter wear.
I ditched mine.
Took mine off.
All right.
I'm still wearing mine currently.
You're up in the crow's nest. What is everybody doing? As you've been instructed to bring proof of the. You'd actually negotiated for a fee, for I think 200 gold pieces. Correct? Was that right? I don't remember the exact fee.
I think so. I think he was actually over, sort of here with us because I was sort of melee, and I had when we left, okay. I had started cutting into him to sort of Han Solo myself into the blubber.
That's fine. Just his head is sort of up on the ice floe that I can't remember exactly where. So most of its body is still sort of like underneath the water.
All right.
And that's right. You were thinking about pulling a tauntaun on this thing.
Yes.
Love it.
So right now, that's what Harkus is doing. You're trying to drag the beast up onto the ice floe. What are the rest of you guys doing? What about you, Granite Guts? What are you doing? You're on this shipwreck.
I see a hatch towards the front. I'm curious to see if I can investigate what's left of the interior of the ship, perhaps, and see if there are any supplies we could use.
Yeah, you sure can. You open the hatch, and inside of it there is there's what looks like a storeroom with various items. Roll me investigation. You see a couple of barrels that catch your interest. They look like they would hold maybe food or something like that. And you also see what looks like a jar of oil and a oil lamp that's hanging there. Further back into the ship, there are a couple of crates, a couple of barrels, and an oil lamp and a jar of oil.
Do I see anything that's any sort of big platform or anything that's made of metal? Or any sort of metal parts on the ship?
Yeah, there are like metal hinges in the door. What exactly are you looking for? Like when you say...
I'm looking for a spot where I may be able to build a little bit of a fire without completely catching the whole works.
Gotcha. So like something that you could make into a fire pit or something like that?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, roll me another investigation check, see if you can find something like that. Yeah, with a 19, you're able to find... we'll say that it's like... trying to think of it, maybe like it was like a shield or something like that, like a rounded shield that they would have kept that's metallic, that you think, okay, you could use this to hold flame with a 19.
Okay.
It's kind of a dingy sort of brass kind of thing. Probably wouldn't be super high quality, but you could use it as a shield if you wanted.
Okay. I'm going to try to clear out a space where I can make a little bit of a fire in the hatchway, but still inside the ship, so that we won't attract too much attention. Although I think we've already attracted probably as much as we're going to, but that way we can also stay out of the wind.
Okay.
And then I'll try to build a little fire.
With your good investigation checks, do you have anything that allows you to start fires?
So I have a tinderbox set, and I'm not sure how long that's going to last me.
Well,
I've used it once.
I'm going to say, since with your investigation checks that allowed you to find oil and an oil lamp, you rolled well enough to find that stuff. With tinderbox, you have no problem starting a fire.
Okay.
So you're able to easily get a fire going down in the little shield basin that you found inside of the base of the hatch. So that's what you're doing.
I shout out, by the way, from the hatchway. Cadillac sauna is now open.
May not be a sauna, but it may be survivable. What about you, Yatara? What are you doing in this situation? Cadillac's got a little flame going with oil. What are you using to burn? Because the oil is going to extinguish pretty quickly. You poured a little oil into there, you got your tinderbox, and you sort of sparked it and got a little flame going.
Are you talking to me or Yatara?
I'm sorry, to you, Granite Guts. What are you burning?
I am taking just pieces of, because the ship is kind of falling apart. So I'm assuming that I can just find broken pieces of chairs and stuff that's around the shattered ship.
Yeah, it's just broken up wood, chairs and things like that. Yeah. Yatara, to you, what are you doing? Granite Guts has sort of built a little fire.
Yeah, so have we explored the bowels of the ship, or what's left of the ship?
Only what Granite Guts has explored. The rest of it is sort of under the water here. And he explored sort of just under this hatch here, where he's sort of gotten a fire going. You've been on top of it.
Is that a stairwell into underneath the ship, the deck of the ship?
Yeah, there is another sort of entrance over here besides the hatch that sort of goes down.
Okay, I'm gonna go in there and explore.
Yeah, roll me investigation. The back half of the ship is waterlogged and under what looks like freezing cold water. What you see are a couple of bunks that are sort of up in the dry part. There is what looks like directly underneath where kind of like as it kind of goes deeper down, and there's what looks like a captain's cabin that is not frozen over yet. So you get to, granted, it's kind of like on top of you. You're going sort of deeper down into it. There's it looks like crew bunks, and then sort of like a captain's cabin. What you see in the crew bunks with that investigation is a couple of trunks that are unopened, and a couple of what looks like waterlogged bedding and that sort of stuff. There's also some fishing tackle just floating on top of the water, what looks like nets and things of that nature.
I'm gonna go explore a little bit deeper into the captain's quarters.
Yeah. As you sort of enter into there, you find a room where everything is basically tossed asunder. There are papers around. There is what looks like navigation charts, that sort of things. There is a bed, and there are a couple of trunks. It's sort of the initial cursory look.
I'm going to look at the papers first to see if there's anything interesting there.
Okay. They are mostly like spots fished, number caught, that sort of thing. The most interesting things really are like one says like Claymore Hole 252, and it seems to be sort of like daily counts and that sort of thing, like locations. There is one that is a permit. It looks like a permit to fish. What's interesting about the permit is that it seems to have been issued probably 2 months ago. So you'd say that the ship has been here at least a couple of months, sort of locked in the ice. I'm sorry, not 2 months. Like it's more than that. Like 8 months ago. It was like 8 months. The ship has been locked in the ice for several months.
All right, I'm gonna go check the trunk in the captain's quarter to see if it is locked.
There are two of them. One of them is locked and one of them is not locked.
Let's go with the unlocked one first.
Okay. In the unlocked one, you find sets of clothing. There's a pair of leather boots. There's a warm winter coat that is dry. There's a pair of winter pants and a belt with what looks like a saber of some sort, like a cutlass or something.
So I'm gonna take the warm coat and put it on.
Yep.
And then go back to the quarters, the sleeping quarters, and check those trunks as well. Are any of those open or unlocked?
Yeah, most of them are sort of turned over and destroyed. There is one that is there are a couple that are sort of there. They don't appear to be locked. As you sort of open it, you find personal effects. One of them has what looks like a little figurine of it's a figurine of the god Mater. It would be like a holy symbol to a cleric or something like that. On the open market, it's a nice little carving, would probably be worth 10 gold or so. So you can mark down in the Mater holy symbol, 10 to 15 gold to the right buyer. Fairly simple construction, like carved out of soapstone or something like that. There are some sets of common clothing, and there are a few notes. The most interesting thing that you note is there is a like a journal in one of them, and it is the journal of local fishermen. The journal makes a note. Are you thumbing through it, or are you just pocketing it?
I'm going to pocket it for now, but then
Journal of Local Fishermen.
I'm going to go back up top side. Is Toot within yelling distance? I believe Toot, aren't you?
Toot's up in the crow's nest.
Yeah, don't you have lockpick?
Do I?
Are you rogue?
No.
You're a bard.
Yeah,
Somebody's
no.
a rogue.
No.
Ordella's a rogue.
Ordella,
No.
did it? No.
No,
No,
we're
I'm a
not.
fighter.
Fufu's a rogue.
Yeah, Fufu's a
In the
rogue.
other campaign.
Yeah, I don't
She's
have
playing
a lockpick.
she's playing a Heron gun named Bunny Fufu.
Well, I'm
my
going to go outside and yell to everyone that there's clothes and blankets in the quarters if anybody is.
Yeah, there are some blankets in there as well. The dry clothes, there are dry clothes there. They are not particularly like winterized, like the stuff that you found, the captain's winter coat. So they would offer you more protection than your wet clothing, or like what Granite Guts is wearing, which is basically like wet stuff. But it wouldn't provide like extra protection like you have now. Okay, as you're doing that, I'll flash to Leonard, and you're up there with Harkus, who is trying to like haul in a carcass. What are you guys up to?
Oh, Leonard, I guess, will help Harkus with the carcass, but I am most interested in rescuing the sinking boat before it is the gone boat.
Yeah, there is one of your two rowboats is sort of upside down and floating under about half a foot of frigid ice water. It was not really like had a hole knocked in it. It just got capsized and waterlogged. So it's still sort of like bobbing with, you know, the very like keel of it at the top of the water, basically.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get that over to the...
Now, it bit a hole in one of them. It like bit it in half because it crit on a bite check. And that boat sunk. The other one is still just capsized and floating.
So I want to try to get the capsized one over here, like onto the sunken boat.
I'll put it back on the screen here for you. Just know that it is upside down, barely under the water. So it's right there. I will give you, if you and Harkus together give me strength rolls. Between the two of you, I think we need a strength of greater than 20 to haul the thing out of the water.
Oh.
So both of you give me a strength check. The combined strength check needs to be greater than 20.
Seeing this, can I guide one of them?
Or you can guide one of them, yeah.
Okay.
So that's a stealth roll. So roll again. So you can guide. We got 8. Roll a d4, Leonard, if you want to add that. Okay, Leonard, you need to roll better than a 2. All right, that does it. With Toot's guidance, how does Toot's guidance give you the strength to manage to pull this out?
Only with Toot's guidance.
Yeah. The combined strength of 20, the two of you are able to haul up onto the ice this thing. All right, Leonard, so you're interested in trying to pull the boat in, the capsized boat. How are you doing that? Who are you recruiting to help you?
Is anybody real good at swimming? Because Leonard, not great at swimming, surprisingly, for a 600-pound robot.
Doesn't Ordella have some kind of a...
Yeah, I think I have a ring of swimming.
Yeah.
I was just looking.
I think the easiest way is to just push it from over here to over here.
Behind Ordella, the motorboat?
Mm-hmm.
So Leonard is saying, hey, Ordella, can you just get behind this and kick like a paddle boat?
Pretty much.
You know, I'm not already cold and wet, so I might as well. Yes.
Okay. So are you doing anything to help Ordella out? Are you like trying to lash it with
Cheer
rope?
me on.
Are you doing
No,
something
I'll
artificer?
supervise. I'll provide moral support and encouragement.
So
from
basically,
the
you're a
security of
bartificer.
Right.
You're being a bartificer.
As long as you make me a heater.
Yeah, done and done.
All right.
Yeah.
So Ordella, how are you doing this? You have a ring of swimming?
Yes. Let me see exactly what it does. How do I? It
may be-
says you have a swimming speed of 40 feet while wearing
Yeah.
this ring.
So basically, you just are able to swim. Like
Okay.
Like
You-
Nothing
farther and
special.
maybe
you don't have to. No,
faster.
you don't have to make any like having a flying speed. Like you don't need to make a check to like swim.
Okay.
You can just do it. Now to
So
push a
just do it.
boat. Yeah, like for example, if Leonard jumped in the water and said, "I'm going to swim over there," I'd say, "Make me an athletics check to
Mhm.
like be able to do that." You can just do it. To swim in, I'm also going to push a boat. I think that probably is going to be.
Like a strength check or something.
Yeah, but I think that with a magical item, you're using magic to do this. The DC is going to be really low. Like, I
Okay,
think this is not hard for you.
I will also try, because looking in my inventory, I have like climbing gear. I have
If
a
I'm
rope.
doing this rule wrong, somebody correct me at some point. But
I
this is
have a
how we'll
rope.
rule it for now.
and a crowbar and a hammer and the python. Is that, I don't know
Python.
how python. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never actually said that word out
Or
loud.
python.
I didn't know that was how
Python.
python.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got those. They're in the bag. So
Okay.
I'm gonna tie one of them to a rope and
Mhm.
try to throw it into the boat so I can pull the boat.
Or just have Ordella swim it out to it.
Oh, see, love it when the DM helps me with my fundamentally flawed plan.
I mean, you're lassoing it. You're like, here, you swim around to the back while I
Yes.
try to lasso this like a cowboy.
Swim all the way out there, and I'll try to throw a rope to where you're going.
to
No,
where you're
How about
going.
with like a hook in it too? So that way maybe you can get me while you're there.
Okay. I'm going to give you advantage on the athletics check then. Ordella, you're jumping in the water and swimming over there.
Okay. So you said athletics?
Yep, give
Or-
me an athletics check. Leonard, you've got a rope here that you're pulling on. Yeah, with a 16 athletics with Leonard's help, you have advantage. You can roll again if you want to, but 16 is going to do it.
Okay.
So advantage doesn't really matter. You're able to sort of push this boat up onto the edge of the thing. It's still upside down, but you're able to sort of like beach it onto the boat.
yeah, I'm gonna flip it over, and using my artificer knowledge, my boatsmanship, if you will, I'm going to inspect its seaworthiness, lakeworthiness.
Okay, roll me. You know about boats, right?
I know about boats.
Sure. Roll. Are you proficient in survival?
I am.
Okay. As I said, if you have a vehicle proficiency in watercraft, go ahead and roll me survival and use your proficiency bonus to check for its seaworthiness. It's taken some damage. Not that like it couldn't be repaired with a simple mending spell or with somebody that had the tools to mend it, like woodworking tools or something, but it'll hold.
Oh,
It's
I
not
got
gonna
woodworking tools. I got woodworking tools.
It's not going to sink. You think that it could be repaired with the wood you have on this sinking boat with, an hour or so of work.
That was my thought of sort of getting it here, is that I could use parts from the boat that exists to fix the boat that didn't. Now, my next question.
This
and
would be
I
easy
don't-
for you. It would take you an hour, but this would be easy.
I don't know if I know my next question. So let me tell you what I'm wondering, and you tell me if we're just going to have to figure it out. We took 2 boats out here.
Correct.
There are 2 boats worth of people and 1
Correct.
boat for the people.
Correct.
So
There's a coyote on one shore.
I was going to say,
And sheep's in the
there's
boat.
a coyote, a rabbit.
And the coyote will eat the sheep if you... Yeah, you're going to figure it out.
yeah,
Hmm.
It's a good plan.
all right. I'm going to sit and fix the boat and explain my thinking and dilemma to everyone to see if we have some thoughts.
All right. Harkas, are you just skinning a sea monster? A plesiosaur?
Yeah, so I'm skinning it and then sort of defatting some of it, thinking that we can sort of render this for
Yeah. So you
Oil.
know that Granite Guts has found some oil and has got a little fire going. Are you still going with the I'm gonna sleep in it plan,
Yeah,
or you like?
I for whatever reason, having seen Granite Gut sleep a couple of times, I'm not sure that I trust him completely. I feel like there's something going on in his upper airway that makes him sort of untrustworthy. And so I'm going to sort of stick with my plesiosaur
Got it.
plan for right now. And if I get cold, then I will hop over to said fire.
Yeah, you're able to cut open a plesiosaur, and now you've been instructed that you have to show proof of the job done to receive payment from the town speaker that you basically cajoled into this. So, are you taking its head or something?
Yeah. How big is a plesiosaur head?
Bigger than a dog's head. Think like you could carry it with two hands. Maybe like two hands.
Okay, so maybe like a giraffe-sized head.
Probably bigger than that, but
Okay.
like a hippo-sized head.
Okay.
Well, I guess for an orc.
Like it'd be like two hands to
pretty
hold this
stout-
thing.
I'm a pretty stout guy, so feels like if it's getting dark, now is probably not the time to do that. So
Okay.
maybe we'll worry about that in the morning.
All right. Toot, what are you doing?
Given my vantage point, can I just do a 360 view of everything and kind of see what's out there? And do I see anything?
Yeah, roll me perception.
Okay.
It does rely on sight. Oh wait, that's another character.
Yeah.
It is dark and fairly still on the water. You don't see much. You hear, you just basically just hear waves, sort of occasionally, like you're hearing here, sort of smacking up against the boat side. You don't really, as it's getting dark over the surface of the water, it's still quiet. You don't see or hear anything.
Okay. Well, I think that I will climb down and get near the fire and probably change clothes because I hear we have found new clothes. So I'm gonna like lay out my mammoth pelt to like dry, and I'm gonna try to get comfortable and warm near the fire.
Leonard, your flamethrower, before it disappears, do you have any use for setting anything on fire? Because it's about to be the time. It lasts, what, an hour?
It lasts an hour.
So I'm giving you, the hour is just about up. You have one last chance before I disappear your flamethrower to... do you get it once a day?
So. I get it once a day.
All right, so before it disappears, do you have anything you wish to flame throw?
I think it is more trouble than it is worth to light anything on fire because... Wait. So the plesiosaur has been eviscerated.
Yes.
And is now a pile of plesiosaurus innards and blubber.
Yes.
With a Harcus on the inside.
With Harcus inside. You have just described the world's grossest chimichanga.
Yeah, there's a Harcus burrito inside the Crunchwrap Supreme.
Crunch.
All right. I'm gonna light the mast on fire, like this one.
Okay. Yeah. You do where on the mast? Top of it?
Oh,
bottom.
we're gonna light the whole thing. Well, no, I want it to last. Let me light the top in a couple spots so that like maybe this edge so that it burns toward the middle, and like the top so it burns down.
Okay.
Because ideally it's some sort of minor warmth, but I'm hopeful it will be bright enough for somebody to notice.
You're making a signal flare.
Right.
Yeah. It shines fairly bright in the dark sky as your flamethrower blasts the mast with fire, light, setting it alight. And then it
And
fades
then my
out.
little puppy flamethrower drone fades away.
Yep, your hover puppy. Okay, the hour has passed. You have fixed the boat, got it righted, and you have a boat that can hold. It held 3 people out here. It might be able to hold more. Let me put it this way. Roll me insight. You were wondering about this boat. What can
I
it
am
hold?
wondering very much about this boat.
Okay. With an 18. It definitely held 3 people. It probably can hold more than 3 people. It definitely won't be able to hold 6 people and a plesiosaur head. You're not certain. It is somewhere between 3 people and 6 and a plesiosaur head. You're fairly certain it could hold more than 3. So 4, 5. When you're getting to 6, it's getting iffy. When you're getting to 6 and a plesiosaurus head, the size of a hippo's head, you're pretty certain it won't hold that.
So, just out of curiosity, how waterproof do I think a plesiosaur skin might be?
It is pretty darn blubbery. Pretty darn waterproof.
So, I'm kind of wondering if maybe we could fashion something out of remaining wood that we might be able to pull behind with maybe a plesiosaur skin as some sort of waterproofing.
Holy
We do
shit!
have an
it looks
artificer.
like Vikings going down the water.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm trying to guide whoever's attempting to try this.
So it is okay. Is the plan to like coat the boat in plesiosaur skin?
No.
No.
Or, like,
I think the plan is to build
No.
a second boat out of a
The
plesiosaur.
plan is to build like a for all intents and purposes, a like float tube to pull behind.
Decorated in
And-
plesiosaur skin.
Without
But we've
plesiosaur skin.
we've got a second boat that just has a hole in it
Under the water.
under the water.
Maybe
So,
somebody
okay.
with a swimming ring could go.
Okay,
and,
so here's how I see it. Here's how I see your options. You could do salvage operation for the sunk boat. You could create basically you could go plesiosaurus tubing and create an inner tube out of a plesiosaur or a boat. You can make a raft out of waterproof plesiosaur skin and like shore it up with wood and basically
I feel
create
like
a
this could
raft
work.
out of
I like-
plesiosaurus.
I like the raft idea. I feel like swimming down into cold water to retrieve a mostly sunken boat with a hole in it is a recipe for actually making us be able to fit in the boat with the entire party. But
You could try to fit the entire party in the 3-person rowboat.
I like the plesiosaur raft idea.
Okay, I'm just going to list all the options that you guys have basically pondered, just to sort of DM it so that these are all the things you pondered. Option 1, wait on rescue. You've let a signal fire and you're hoping somebody will notice. Toot was in the mast, didn't see anybody, but he could stay up there and watch. Like, wait on rescue. That's 1. 2 is try to fit everybody into the rowboat. 3 would be like ferry people 3 at a time or 2 at a time in the rowboat and like try to like go send a few people back for help. 4 would be try to salvage the sunken boat. 5 would be make a boat out of a plesiosaurus. I like the make a boat out of a plesiosaurus.
Make a boat out of a plesiosaurus. I don't have any other plans now. That is my plan A, B, C, D, and E.
I mean, and to be honest, if we fashion it well enough and it really is straight Viking, we just put the plesiosaur head on the front and we sail that bastard right
It's
into
the most
harbor.
badass way to ride back into Bremen, right?
Yeah. And don't don't think I'm not going to be right up on the front of the ship, like foot on the plesiosaur.
Freaking Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. All like Captain Jack Sparrowing.
Well, if we're successful at this, I'm gonna need like one of our 3 fans to do some fan art here. I need to see this.
I'll need to see plesiosaur boat. All right. Yeah. So you decide that you're doing this crazy plan. I don't even know what the check is here.
I mean, I feel like
here's
we
what we're
have
gonna
an
do. Here's what we're
Roll
gonna
a
do.
check
Who
for
else-
crazy.
Who all is helping with this?
I'm
Well,
guiding
I'm
whoever's
absolutely-
doing it.
So you're doing guidance. The artificer is engineering it and planning it. Who else is helping?
I'm providing the raw materials.
All right. So you're helping. Who else is helping?
I can help, I guess.
Okay. I need a group survival check from everybody.
I'll help.
Everybody together is roll survival. You can add guidance to whoever you want to. I have to have a certain number of people that succeed the check.
Okay.
1 success, 2 success. All right, Toot, who are you adding guidance to?
We'll go with Leonard. We'll bump that one up.
Holy shit, these are some hot rolls. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. You've got 1 success, 2 success, 3 success, 4 success, 5 success, 6 success.
Where were these with the dog?
Making up for lost time.
You have 6. You have 6 successes. I need montage music. I don't know if I have montage music because everybody's like. I'm imagining like
Yeah,
I'm imagining like a South Park montage where like making a boat out of a plesiosaur.
I was really thinking it was more like Reservoir Dogs when they come walking out.
We have some plesiosaur stuck all over.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. You guys, are you working through the night, or are you waiting till like morning time to do this?
I feel like the work is going to keep me warm. So
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
We're all motivated now.
So we're just blasting through the night. Yeah, you managed to fashion a raft out of a plesiosaur skin and like wood that's like refuse wood, and it looks like one of those Viking boats with like a sea monster head, except it is a sea monster.
it's literally the best D&D idea I've ever had.
held together with wood and I guess nails that you have like salvaged from the ship, and you've cleaned all the blubber out of it, and you're able to. I don't have art for this. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to like find one. This is one of those eventualities that I was not prepared for. You managed to fashion a boat out of plesiosaurus skin. It'd be like a Viking boat. Viking boat? Something like that, yeah. It looks like a Viking boat made out of skin. And it's able to fit easily 3 people.
Yeah, at this point, I really kind of want the plesiosaur boat to be in the front.
Okay. Yeah,
I
the
mean-
next morning comes and you have this crazy boat made out of plesiosaurus skin, and you have another rowboat, and you're able to load yourselves onto it.
I feel like we're obligated to put the head of the plesiosaurus at the front of the plesiosaurus boat.
I agree.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it 100% is. It looks just like one of the Viking boats without a sail, you know.
I found a picture. I put it in the chat. Close as I could find.
Yes, this is basically exactly it.
I love
Except
the
it is
smile
made
on
out
his
of
face.
it is made out of skin.
I'm so glad I got turned into a boat. Yay.
Yeah. Have you named your vessel? Every boat has to have a name.
It's
Can
true.
we just call it P. Diddy?
What
Yes.
what was the name of the lake monster? They
It was
always call
Mary.
Mary.
I like P. Diddy.
The like
Okay.
Mare dwelled. It was the Mare Dweldwin monster. So Mary.
Lame.
Agreed.
Okay, fine. P Diddy. You got. Who's captaining P Diddy?
Oh, me, obviously.
I was about to
Harkus.
say it's gotta be Kendra.
Oh,
Who's on
me.
the other
Yeah.
boat?
Oh, me.
I don't have any glorious music for you to ride back into town on. This is the one downside to Syrinscape is that I don't have glory music.
They're expecting success.
I wasn't expecting this.
Where's the gladiator music when you need it?
I know.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what you ride back into town on is gladiator music. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. See what this is. I don't even know.
So good.
Yeah.
We're the coolest people we know.
Yeah, so you guys are able to ride this this contraption back. I'm not even going to make you roll. This is too cool. There's no need to roll this. You guys are able to roll this back to the city of Bremen, and let me just find Bremen here real fast. I'm too taken aback by this to like know exactly what to do. I've lost Bremen. I always knew this would happen. I have Targos. Where did Bremen go? It's alphabetical. You'd think I wouldn't have this much problem.
Our next mission, find Bremen.
There it is. You guys are able to row this boat back to Bremen. I'm sorry, I don't have art for it. And it's the next day. And as you come rowing up, there is a man standing at the dock, a dwarven man with a scowl on his face. And you recognize that this is none other than Grinsk Barrelbore, who lent you use of his two boats.
And I
he
immediately
looks-
yell at him, and I say, "Get to work."
And he sort of scowls at you as you say that, and he looks over at you all and says, "No fish? What is this?"
Don't we have fish?
You lost them.
We
all.
lost the fish when the
Oh.
first boat sank.
You lost all the fish.
What are the chances I found a fish while gutting the plesiosaur?
Roll me a D100.
All right, let's see here.
Roll me a percentile die. I'm going to say you got a 10% chance.
I'm hoping that
Did he
that
make it?
10% was from 0 to 10.
Sure. You got one fish. You found one fish.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
Just put it in his hand.
I just need one fish. And so with that, what happens is as we pull up, I've got the one fish in my hand by the
He rolled a
tail.
1 for people listening. On D100.
I've got one fish in my hand that just is like
It's chewed up.
it's half disintegrated. It's
Yep.
sort of
It's like a cartoon fish with like its skeleton is just the back half of
Yeah.
it.
yes. And I walk up to him, sort of nudge or sort of indicate to Toot to yell, "Get to work" at him again, and then slap him across the face with the remnants of this fish.
And I absolutely do so.
He says, he looks over at you, he looks at the monster and says, "Well, it looks like you've at least done some good here. Where's my other boat? You brought back the burly ram, but where be the pronged goat? Don't tell me that the goat was damaged."
It was broken when you gave it to us. It sank on the way out there.
Lies. I will have compensation.
You got the fish.
I would say that this monstrous creatures should do. I'll take
He's
it.
already promised to the science guy.
Pef. Well then, I will take gold in compensation for my missing boat.
At this point, I am
Not missing.
Yeah, I'm not amused. I'm not amused by this at all. And sort of stand over the dwarven man with all of my height and just glare at him.
He looks over at you and he says, I know powerful people, you know.
We are powerful people.
You don't want to do this, son.
Do you think weak people killed this monster?
Roll intimidation.
Hmm?
Roll intimidation.
He thinks you're cute.
I spent all of it pulling the plesiosaur out and making the boat.
He looks over at you and goes, I see you have great strength in your muscles. And it's clear that you know your way around the fight. I'm not gonna fight you. But there's other kinds of strength, laddie. You'll learn that someday. You lost me boat, and you bring me no fish, and you insult me. You slap me with one, and you insult my business. You'll learn other strength. Good day to you.
It'll work.
And he sort of trundles off. He did not seem intimidated by you. He says, "There's other kinds of strength, laddie."
So I'm gonna start pulling the plesiosaur boat onto sort of land.
Yeah, you're able to do that. You're able to pull it up on the land. Are you going to find the speaker of town?
How difficult is it going to be to remove the head of the plesiosaur now?
The question really is, do you want to?
Yes.
Yeah, you could chop it off. It's on a really wicked cool boat at the moment.
Do we have to? I mean, that's the proof. We don't have to, dismantle it.
The boat is an art object now, worth 500 gold pieces to the right buyer. It
Better than
belongs in a
200.
museum. Was it 200 gold that you were promised for
Is
the
it
job
2
done?
or 300? I
It was
don't
three.
remember.
Yeah, I think we had
Believe it was 400.
we had gotten to 300. I think it was 50 per. Because I tried to get 100 per, and that didn't go very far.
50 per. Yeah. That was from Dorbelgroff Shaleskar, the dwarven speaker of the town.
So should, I guess, to the group, do we think
You found him.
Do we need to protect our boat?
And you'd found him in the buried. You'd found him in the buried treasures, which is the tavern with the woman whose son had run off.
We need to guard our boat until we get the researcher here to. I don't know.
And we need to get. So somebody needs.
The researcher's name was Tally.
Yeah, we need to find the researcher.
And they.
The guy with the money.
Yeah, they live here in town.
It
was an elven person.
I will be happy to stand guard at the boat.
Okay. So you're standing guard at the boat. Where's everybody else?
I'm happy to stand guard at the boat as well, but as we've seen from the last 2 rolls, I'm probably just going to lay down and take a nap.
Yeah, I'll stick around at the boat.
Okay. The last time you found the Speaker of Town, he was at the Buried Treasures Inn and Tavern. It's been a day later now, so you don't know if he drinks there every day or what, but that's the last place you knew where he was. When you basically cajoled the gold.
But he lives there. Like he lives there, right?
You don't know.
That's.
No, is that
I
the
thought
other
we
guy?
no, we found that out. I thought.
No, he doesn't. No, that's in the other town. That's in Targos.
Oh, okay.
The Speaker of Targos was the shady guy that
Right.
Okay.
seemed to be involved in some criminal activity that seemingly had the potential candidate for the speakership of Goodmead killed.
Oh, right. The Luskin Arms was his.
Yes, he lives in the Luskin Arms. The speaker of this town seemed like kind of an old man who was a bit addle-brained that was sitting in the inn drinking.
Okay. So then,
At the Buried Treasures. And you learned the rumors about the other things at the Black-Bearded Brother and the Grumpy Moose. You learned rumors of the disappearing people in Caer Konig. And I think that's the only big rumor that you learned. And you learned about that it speaks in one of the bars too. No fishes for you. So what are you guys doing? Are you going over to the Buried Treasures? Going back to the bar, looking for a room at the inn, leaving town.
I think we need to go get our money.
Okay. So are you going to the last place you found the speaker? Or are
I'm
you going to
going to the
go?
boat.
Or are you going to go like look for the speaker town hall, or where are you going?
I feel like we need to go to the last place we saw the speaker.
Okay.
So Toot will go.
That would be the Buried Treasures. So Toot is going. Who else is going?
I'll go with 2.
So it's Toot, Yatara, and who else?
I'll go.
Ordella.
And the
We're
other
gonna go-
3 of us are boat guardianships.
The others are boat guards.
Mm-hmm.
Boat guards.
Boat
Always
guards.
split the party. Isn't that the way it goes?
This is the way it goes. I'm gonna put you
This is
guys
the
in
way.
I'm gonna put you guys in the corner here. You're not really here, but I'm gonna put you in the corner so that you guys can see what's happening on the screen, even though you're sort of off screen. Got it? Got it. All right. Toot, Yatara, and Ordella arrive at the Buried Treasures. In the Buried Treasures, you see several people sitting around in the bar and making merry. It's relatively quiet. There are a few people sort of murmuring and talking, drinking. There's not really any music going on or anything tonight. The woman that you'd seen previously that kept the bar, whose name was Cora Mulfoon, that was sort of overworked and seemed to be barely keeping up, is there, and she greets you warmly. She says, "Oh, you all returned. You haven't by chance heard of Hurbar, have you? I mean, I know it's only been a day, so of course you wouldn't have, but if you do hear, please let me know. Can I get you something to drink? Anything?" And you hear another person sort of call out to her and say, "More ale!" She says, "Coming. And she turns to you and says, "Just take a seat and I'll be right there." And she runs away over to the bar before you could say anything. In the corner, you see a familiar face. The old speaker of town, whose name is Shalescar, Speaker Shalescar. Adorable gruff. He's a dwarven man with a long red beard, is sort of sitting there, and he is quietly sipping on an ale. I don't remember his voice, but it will be this one now.
Okay. Toot will begin to head over in his direction. It's the
And that was
mustachio guy,
That was
right?
this guy over here.
Yeah.
He looks over at you and says, "Oh, the Birdley chap again. Welcome back."
Thank you.
Says, "I apologize for the quality of the food in my town, but how goes the fishing?"
We have a fish story to tell you. But
Oh, I love fish stories.
I think it's better to show you. Can you come with us?
Show me.
Show you. I say it in his voice.
He
Actually,
laughs.
yeah.
He laughs at that. What are you doing, Ordella? You sort of come around beside him. You all standing over him.
Yep.
He says, I'm feeling somewhat intimidated here.
I didn't even have to roll.
Ladies, gentlemen, I mean you no harm or disrespect, but I will come with you. And he leans over and goes, could I please? And says, from right, would you mind accompanying us? And he says, okay, show me, what is it you have to show me?
Okay. I will begin walking towards the door. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let him follow us.
Okay, he'll follow. Cora Melfoon leans over and goes, I didn't even get your drink orders. And you hear another person yell, I've been waiting on my ale. And she hurriedly turns back. And Dorblegruff, sort of as he's walking, says, shame about her and her boy. I wonder whatever became of him. Terrible story. Terrible story. Following those devil people up into their, wherever they went, their keep. Anyways, you wanted to show me something. And you're leading him back out to the streets?
I am. And as soon as we get close enough to kind of see the outline of the boat, I'm going to do like a kind of kind of like, I guess, bugle or something similar, and like gesture with my arm.
Yeah.
As if to present.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Yep.
He, as those of you that were leading him, which was Ordella, you, and Yatara, lead him back here. He looks over to you, goes, wait. Is that?
Fish story.
Oh, is that it? And he looks over at you, Yatara, and says, you speak more clearly than your friend. I would be most interested in said fish story. Is that indeed the beast that has plagued us?
Yes, it is. I'm not as eloquent as my friend, but we don't have much time.
Well, this calls for celebration. Indeed. Celebration indeed. What a day. The boats shall go. We shall have fish again. Everyone. And he starts just yelling. The beast is slain. The beast is slain. And people start coming out of the houses onto the streets and things, and talking and looking at it, and voices are sort of going about it, and one of the crowd that starts coming out to take a look at everything is a face that you recognize. Tali comes over, and they walk right up to you, Leonard, Harkus, and Granite Guts, that are sort of standing next to it, and they say, "Oh my, this is you. You brought it here. You've killed it. It isn't exactly what I was hoping for. Did you get any notes on its behavior? Is there anything you took down? Do we have any information as to why it was doing this?" And this is to you, Granite Guts, Harkus, and Leonard, who are there by guarding the boat.
Didn't it say something about appeasing?
That it was sent by oral.
Also said something about to make Brennan suffer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sent by a reel to make Bremen suffer. Oh my. And he puts his head in his hand and says, "It's the same thing as the white moose." Oh.
So there are more talking wildlife.
Right, but the white moose?
Yes, I haven't made it there yet, but there are stories of this crazed moose outside of the Lonely Wood that is stalking and tormenting the citizens of that small burg. They say that it like speaks and has made threats that they're serving the evil goddess. There's someone that's turning them live. The only thing that I can think is that someone is casting awaken upon them. Some sort of evil druid or druidic magic. Thank you. This helps with my research tremendously. And he pulls out a scroll, and he hands it over to you, Leonard, because you're the most magical-looking person here, and says, "Take this. Perhaps if you encounter the moose or some other such creature, it might come in handy at some point. If there are any notes that you can bring me that would help us understand what's happening here, it might be able to end this torment of our people. Perhaps even this could happen without killing these beautiful animals. This is not a monster. This is not an abomination. This is an animal. No different than a bear or a seal or a fish. It doesn't. They're doing this. Someone is making them do this. They're not naturally just evil things." And the scroll that he hands you is a scroll of animal friendship.
Oh,
and he gives you a small pouch of 5 gold pieces. And he tosses that also to you, Leonard, and says, "Take this. Maybe this will aid in you in some way. If you do find out anything about the white moose of Lonely Wood, please." Apparently, the loggers and trappers say it just attacks on sight. But
I'm gonna ask him if do you have any information that it is reversible? I mean, is there anything?
I was hoping that you would be able to tell me something.
Okay, I mean, we'll let you know what we find out. We don't know anything yet.
Okay. Well, perhaps if this scroll would be able... I mean, I am not a fighter. I can't go near this thing. It would surely do me in. But if one of you is able to use it and be able to communicate with it and could find out why this is happening and maybe even stop it, the animals of the area would certainly... They don't deserve this. It's like something is controlling them or making them do it. I don't know about evil goddesses. I do know about evil druids. That's the only thought that I have.
Leonard feels compelled to find these animals and figure this out because he regrets that his fear of water and the fish monster got the better of him, and he didn't ask more questions. He didn't ask any questions, just murdered the fish. Now he realizes there's a lot of information we could have gotten from the fish. So,
yeah. But he's given you the scroll. He's given you his 5 gold pieces, and he thanks you, and he heads away. The speaker of town turns to you, Toot and Guitarra and Ardella, and says, "Well, I suppose it is a matter of honor. The town owes you 50 gold pieces apiece. We shall make good upon it." And he says, "Follow me to the town hall, and we shall arrange for your compensation."
At this point, can I have sort of made my way over?
Yeah.
Since we've discussed this already, I'm going to sort of make my way over here and tell him that there's a matter of replacing the boat for the dwarven gentleman whose ship was lost to the beast.
Grinsk, you took the boats from Grinsk Barrelbore. He sort of chuckles a little bit and says, "Well, what do you propose, sir?"
Well, your town will need to make that right with him so that he can continue to fish for the food that your town needs.
Roll persuasion. As you're essentially trying to convince him that the town also needs to compensate for the loss. He looks over and says, "Well, I'll speak with old Grinsk. Best we can do. Come, you are owed gold." And he leads you all to town hall, where he dispenses 50 gold pieces apiece to each of you. So mark down 50 gold pieces.
awesome. I mean, really, we're not departing by boat. We can't take the plesiosaur boat with us.
No.
Unless we add wheels and turn it in to a plesiosaur wagon.
Doesn't
This
seem
is-
like a bad idea.
I know. I said no one's turning that idea
don't-
down
This
yet.
thing gets cast down into Avernus and has become an infernal war machine.
Yeah, I don't hate this idea. I don't hate this idea.
I mean, we could use a wagon. A wagon would come in handy.
He looks as you're sort of. This is how it works. As you're sort of being doled out your gold, he says, "We shall mount it on the town hall as a monument to your great deeds. Forever shall you be immortalized in Bremen, the slayers of the monster."
I can live with that.
Mary.
Okay, that's good too.
Yeah, I can live with that. That's fair.
And he actually says, "Long shall your deeds live and echo through the halls of the 10 Talons. The great Toots crew,
Toots crew.
the great Toots crew." And yeah, I will take you all to the map. You guys find yourselves in the town of Bremen. There are lots of the things that you have learned about that are going on. You know about the missing young man from Bremen, the son of the innkeep that ran off with some tiefling people after finding a shard while actually searching for the speaker that you've been dealing with after he disappeared in the wilderness on an expedition. You know that they were going to a keep. They were taking him to a keep, and the only 2 towns that had keeps were Caer Konig and Caer Dinival. One of them was in ruins, one of them not. You know about fishermen that are missing in the town of East Haven. You know that East Haven is not bringing in any more fish. It's the biggest city on Lachdinsmere because all of the fishermen have gone missing. You know now that animals are being awakened, including the sea monster of Bremen that was terrorizing the fishermen and keeping the fish from being caught. And you've also now learned about a white moose that is terrorizing the citizens of the town of Lonelywood up here. Apparently something similar. You learned about an expedition led by a man named Garrett, leading out from Caer Konig towards Kelvin's Cairn, who had disappeared and his dog came running back to find you all. You had learned about a man, I can't remember if he was a dwarf or a halfling, he was a halfling, that was trying to create a device to end the long winter. And Granite Guts was asked if he found his way up there to check in on him. His name was Macradius, and he is at this little diamond is where the cabin that he fled to in the woods was to try to create his device. Where is the party headed?
I would like to suggest to the party that since we have a task around Lonelywood potentially.
Oh, yes, I forgot one other thing. The murders in the town of Bremen. You were tracking initially a murderer hired by Hill and Trollbane.
Oh, that's right.
Ice Dagger murders by a yes, that were being by Hillen thought, and you don't know this for certain, but Hillen thought they were being conducted by a man by the name of Sefik Caltro that was following a band of merchants named Torgas that you had tracked all the way to this town, and you knew that they were in this town at least before you went out on the lake. Chose not to go over and see where Torga's band was, and you knew that they were here before you went out on the lake.
What time of day is it?
It is about 10 or 11 a.m. Torga's and Sefik. So you were suggesting up to Termalane and then Lonelywood, Black Cabin, and then over to Caer Konig?
So I drew my proposed take care of all our side quest route.
Well, I mean, we have to go back to East Haven too to collect our money if we finish in Bremen. So
if you take care of Sefik, if you eliminate him, you've got gold waiting for you in East Haven.
So we have to murder him, and he's with Torgas to get our money.
Right.
That's what Hill and Trollbane wanted you to do. She told you don't turn him over to the authorities. The authorities can't be trusted. You might have good reason to not trust authorities after seeing what happened in Targos. You don't know if they're still here or not.
I think trying to find them is the most logical, given where we are.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, let's see if they're here. That sounds... Even if we don't decide to murder the guy, we can see if the guy is here to be murdered.
Wasn't it suggested to us to do it in the evening when he's away from her anyway?
Or when her guards weren't there or something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So maybe we check to see if he's here first and then go from there.
Okay. What are you guys, how are you guys doing that? Or what are you just asking the speaker, hey, we'd asked you about Torgas. Are they still here?
I mean, I feel like he would know, so sure.
Yeah, I was just curious, like, how you were doing that, what you were asking specifically, who's doing that. if you're just asking, are they still here? Is Torgo's still here? The speaker of town looks over at you all and says, well, Torgo's. Oh, yes, that merchant woman. Foul look about her. Yes, they're still here. They set up on the far end of town. Next to the water. Just east of the docks. They sell their wares there. But I do warn you to be careful about them.
Is there a reason?
She has a reputation. Yeah. I have to choose my words carefully. She has a bit of a reputation. Not necessarily just of violence, but of connectedness, as it were.
Interesting.
Sometimes connectedness. And as you say interesting, he looks over at you and says, yes, Sir Cadillac. Sometimes it is not how hard you can swing a sword, but rather how many swords you can call to bear. The greatest warrior cannot overcome an army. I bet you
I get the impression that he is afraid of her.
Roll insight. A little. With a 9. You don't have great insight into it, but maybe a little. Maybe. So where are you guys going? Are you waiting till evening time, drinking in the bar, going over to where Torgs has their camp set up? Are you asking about the Sefik Keltro guy to see if you could catch him somewhere that's not with Torgs?
I would. I would wonder, do we need to take a rest since we have not really done that since?
Yes, that's right. You guys went through an entire night and worked through a night. So everybody can take 1 level of exhaustion, actually. You were all level 1 exhausted. Forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me.
In that case, yes, let's take a nap.
Okay. Are you staying at the Buried Treasures? Or are you camping out somewhere?
I mean, I feel like we're in town. We should probably find a bed while we can.
Mm-hmm.
The speaker looks over at you and says, I shall arrange free room for you, heroes of Bremen. Come, if you're wishing to stay.
And I reply back excited, free room and ale.
Aye, indeed, free room and ale. You're the heroes of Bremen. Of course you shall drink for free at my table. And he leads you all back to the Buried Treasures, which seems to be basically the only inn in town. There are a lot of other bars in town, but it seems to be the only inn. There are several people drinking here. And as evening is coming on, what are you all doing? Just settling down for rooms, or drinking in the bar, or what are we doing?
Going to bed.
Get a drink. Well,
Okay. Getting a drink?
Assuming that the drink comes in a reasonable amount of time. And if it doesn't, then I'm just going to go to bed.
Yeah. The lady that is working the bar, she sort of brings you fairly quickly a drink. As people are sort of milling about. Sorry, I'm working the music.
How do I set exhaustion?
Conditions.
Click
Yeah,
where it
there is
says
a setting.
conditions on the far right.
And at the
Leonard,
bottom,
you're just turning in.
Yes.
If you're turning in, you were offered a room, Leonard. Do you want me to put you in the room?
Yes. Oh, I see it. I see it now. Okay. All right.
I think Toot's also turning in.
Toot, you're turning in.
Yes.
You're offered a separate room, Toot.
I think I am
Marcus?
too.
Cadillac, you're just turning in.
Yeah.
Yatara, what about you?
I'm staying up with Harkus.
Harkus and Yatara are drinking in the bar. Ordella, what are you doing?
She had to.
Yeah, she
Oh.
stepped away.
We'll say Ordella is drinking at the bar as well. Ordella had to step away with baby, I guess. Speaker of town bids you all well and says he'll take his leave to his table to meet with his associates, which basically seems to be his drinking buddies. And yeah. About how long are you guys staying up for? Drinking at the bar.
I'm probably going to stay up for, what time is it?
Yeah, it's, sunset's early. Let's say it's 7 or 8 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, I'll probably stay up till 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Okay. At about 10 o'clock at night, are you all staying up the same amount of time together?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At about 10 o'clock at night, everybody roll me perceptions in the bar.
There we go.
There you go. There's a roll. With a 22 perception, Harkus, your beady little orc eyes catch this like steel. A man that seems entirely out of place walks into the bar and sits down over at a table all by himself on the far end of the room. And the reason he looks entirely out of place to you with a critical success perception is because everybody is bundled up because it is cold as the 9 hells here. But this man has no winter coat on at all. And with a critical success perception, you notice that he had just entirely pale blue eyes as he enters the room, sits down in one of the chairs, and puts a hand up and sort of motions for ale. While you're drinking in the bar. So to clue you in, Destroyer of Worlds, Ordella, you are sitting in the bar while several of the party members, basically Toot, Leonard, and Granite Guts, have gone to sleep. Harkus, Yatara, and you are sitting in the bar after you've gone to bed, after you've been rewarded for the sea monster of Bremen, and a man that seems entirely out of place because he's wearing no winter coat, has pale blue eyes, has walked into the bar, sat down at a seat, and has ordered an ale.
We heard. No, I'm not there. But we heard, if I recall, that the creepy, murdery ice spike guy looked funny, pale.
Yes, Leonard, you remember that this is exactly what the creepy, murdery ice spike guy looked like. I'm glad you're able to share that information with the people that are there at the table. You can table talk that, yes. Your table player memories do remember that. And that probably triggers that memory. And he had a critical success perception, so I think that Harkus probably. I'm going to say you recall that. And Yatara, he caught your eye too. A 19 is a really good perception. Can't beat a crit. So that's what you get. You're fairly certain that this is your query that has walked into the bar and has ordered a drink. Cora walks over to you and says, "It's so good of you all to have taken care of that beast. I just Speaker Shell Scar has taken care of your drinks. It's all on the house. Please enjoy." And she gets you an ale. It's not a very good ale. It's not honey mead from a good mead, but it'll do. What are you doing?
Drinking up as much free ale as I can before they change their minds.
Yeah, when I see him, I'm just going to start kind of nursing the ale a little bit, and trying to pay a bit of attention to him.
Yeah. Okay.
So as he sits down, for some reason, I'm naturally compelled to go talk to him.
Okay. You walk over, and he
I walk
looks
over and I sit down.
Yeah, and he looks over at you and says, "Cold night, eh?"
Cold
And takes
and
a sip
long.
of his ale. What'd you say? I missed it.
I said, cold and long.
Indeed.
Where are you from?
South. Not south of here. 'Cause I was born in East Haven. And you notice he has no coat, no scarf, no gloves. It's just like the cold couldn't touch him.
I tell him there are many troubles in this area.
Indeed. And he takes a long sip off of his ale. It's a troubled world.
I ask him if I can buy him an ale.
He accepts. Says, always for a drink. To what do I owe this?
Seem to be traveling alone in a very dangerous part of the area.
Says, I can know myself. I work security. I provide security for traveling merchants. We're heading out tomorrow.
Indeed. What kind of merchants?
Sell furs. Sell meat. Salt. Whatever we come across. Anything, really. Anything and everything. Mostly, supplies. You have need of something, you can probably arrange it.
I'll ask him how the salt sales are going due to the lack of fish.
Sure. Poorly. But as it turns out, when there's scarcity, prices go up. So, although it is rarer, it has its value. He kind of spits and says, I hear tale, though, that fish may start running out of Bremen again. Some folks apparently took care of the beast. You have anything to do with that?
So I don't say anything or give anything away, but I do look at him more carefully. Can I notice anything else about him?
He's dressed really oddly. Again, the most striking thing about him are his eyes. They are as blue as a frozen lake. He's very abrupt. He does not appear to be armed, as far as you can tell. I don't think. Hang on. Let me look real close. Yeah, he's not armed. Like, no weapons on him. He said he works security, and maybe it strikes you as odd. He has no weapons. And he's not wearing, like, armor. Roll me insight. And Arcana. Roll both. You're wizard. 17. Oh, shit. Okay. There's something a little bit off. Okay. Let me describe this to you as best I can. Have you seen the movie Men in Black? Where, like, the bug alien, like, puts on the man
It's
suit
wearing the Egger suit.
and he looks a little bit, like, wrong? With a crit success, you sort of get that impression that, like, his, like, manner of speech is, like, a little bit pressured and wrong, and the way that he kind of moves just a little bit is kind of, like, a little bit halting and a little bit wrong. Like, it sort of uncanny valleys you just a little bit. You know, it's like almost human, but there's something inhuman about him. With you guys are, where was this when you wanted the dog?
For real.
There's something inhuman about him, about the way that he's moving. You're sure of it. You don't know if he's possessed by something or if he is something that is not a human, but it's definitely not like a normal man. And it is really odd to you that he's not armed and that he's not wearing any, like, warm gear.
And with that, I'll stand up and then ask him what time are they departing in case we need supplies for the morning.
We'll probably head out as soon as the sun gets warm. Around 10 or so. We'll lash up the dogs and round up the men. My crew will get ready. Old Torga, she doesn't like to be late for her next appointment.
But where is your next appointment in the event we need to cross paths again for supplies?
He looks over at you and he says, we double back through Targos and head up to Termalaine. Termalaine, we'll make our way back down through the Vale, probably to Bryn Shander again, or maybe over to East Haven. I could handle some business in Termalaine.
And with that, I'll tap on the table and say, be safe, my friend, and walk back to the bar.
He sort of smirks at you a little bit and drinks his ale. And you're back at the bar.
And then at that point, low-key, tell the rest of the people at the bar what just transpired.
What does Harkus and Ordella think? It sounds like Yatara is certain that this is your query, and that Yatara has become certain that this is something inhuman. Or something beyond just human. Maybe that changes the perspective on kill him versus turn him over for murder.
What do you think it is? Or he is?
You're muted, Jonathan. I'm sorry. If you were answering that.
Yeah, definitely not what it appears to be.
Oh, one other thing with that critical perception roll, Jonathan. He had a tattoo on him, which was interesting to you. The tattoo had an anchor and a couple of fish on it. If you want to retcon asking him questions about that, you can. If you would have.
Let's do that because I think that's very important.
Yeah. So he's got a tattoo of an anchor and a anchor and a couple of fish on his arm. So what do you ask him?
Asking, was he a fisherman in a previous life?
He sort of chuckles when you say that and says, "I was a mariner once indeed. I was a fisher. Yes, I was a mariner." And he sort of laughs and says, "In the previous life."
Where do you hail from?
That's a good question. Hang on. He says, "Like I told you, I was born in East Haven. But we fished off the Sea of Moving Ice. I don't do that anymore. Work security."
With that, I'll get up and bid him a good night and walk and take my seat back at the bar again.
Okay. All right. So you're able to share all that information.
Yeah. Obviously, he is possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Convinced he is possessed. They're leaving out in the morning. You know that they're moving back through Targos. And they said they're not stopping in Targos. They're doubling back through Targos on the way to Tamerlane. Or maybe they would stop in Targos, but only briefly. Because they already did business in Targos. So what are you guys doing, Harkus and Ordella, while the other party members are sleeping and you have found your quarry?
Was Targus the next town over?
Targos is the town south of here where you had the dog man.
So at this point, I don't think there's really much we can do tonight with everybody else resting. So I'm going to go turn in, and
Yeah,
we can
fix
discuss
our
it with a large
exhaustion.
group in the morning.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
Okay. You all turn in for the night. Anybody setting any watches or anything, or just going to bed? You're already gone to bed.
Yeah, I guess
So-
I'm just powered down in my room.
So you don't count. I just was asking the crew that stayed up at the bar if, with the new information they have, changes
Well,
any
no,
of their
just
perspectives.
usually since I've set up in the hallway, but since we went to bed separately, I would have stayed in my room. So that's fine.
So I think given my perception roll and my general unease with that guy, we'll probably sort of set up a watch for a period of time when we get back to the room.
Okay.
I'll set up second watch.
Okay. And I guess Ordella, if you're participating, gets
take
third
third.
watch. All right. For the remainder of the night. Some dice here. And I rolled 3 times, and none of them roll you a random encounter. So the night passes without event. You guys wake up. It's morning time, just before Torgos would be packing out. Probably about 8 in the morning. They said they would be leaving by 10. And everybody has recovered their exhaustion. At least one level. If you have 2 levels, you're back to the first level. What are you guys doing? You tell the remainder of the party about Torgos and what you have found.
think perhaps we should try to find the caravan. Maybe not sort of overtly, but covertly, and sort of
Okay.
see what we see.
All right. How are you? Are you just sort of going up to it, or?
Were we going to attempt to purchase a dog from them at one
Oh,
point?
we were going to attempt to purchase a dog.
Yeah, so we
That's
have
what
a
we're
we
doing.
have a reason to directly engage with them.
When Gronska sidetracked us to make us fishermen, and then we never got to the buying a dog. I was going to buy a dog.
All right, well, let's go see about buying a dog.
Okay. All right. You guys are going over to see about purchasing a dog.
We heard they had sled dogs, so we want to
They
try
do. You guys arrive on the edge of town, just east of the docks, where Torga's has their stalls set up. Make sure I've got everybody in here. I'm missing someone. Who am I missing? Leonard, Harkus, Toot, Cadillac, Yatara. Who's missing here? There we go. All right. They currently are setting up all of their stuff. You hear Torga barking orders at people as they are starting to pack things up. They're watching over the area are several what look like toughs next to Torga, and the man that you saw in the bar last night is standing near her, helping sort of packing things up onto a couple of sleds that they've got with a pack of, we're going to say there are 8 sled dogs that they are able to sort of lash a bunch of their sleds to. They have 3 sleds in total. So you hear orders being barked and things starting to get packed up. You see the same man there.
I'm going to walk up and see if I can talk to him about buying one of the sled dogs.
Okay, Leonard, as you walk up, a dwarven woman approaches you and looks over at you all and says, "Hi. What can we do for you?"
I see you guys are getting ready to leave, and just before you do, I thought I'd see if there's any way you would consider parting with one of your sled dogs. I've always wanted a puppy.
Perhaps. How much coin you got?
I've got some gold. Like, how much are you thinking?
Hang on. She looks over at you and says, "Good mastiff or sled dog? What's she in the market
dog?
for? Sled dog?
Sled dog.
Sled dog will run you 25 gold.
Okay, do I get some food for the dog with that?
Food's extra.
Okay, how much for a sled dog and some food just to keep us going until our next stop?
How many pounds of food you want?
How many pounds of food does sled dog eat?
You don't know anything about sled dogs, do you, son?"
I like the way they look.
She looks over at you and says, "Sled dog eat about 50 pounds of food a week."
Okay, how much is 50 pounds of food?
She looks at you and says, 25 gold.
Okay, what about 80 gold for 2 sled dogs?
She spits and says, 2 sled dogs, 50 gold. What kind of crap are you trying to pull here, son? You want 2 sled dogs and 100 pounds of food? That'd be 100 gold.
trying to get a 20% discount. Okay, okay. What's my carrying capacity? My strength is 7.
Are you going to carry the dog? What's wrong with you?
No, I'm going to carry the food.
Do you not have a sled?
No, how much is a sled?
She looks over at you and
Irrelevant for
says,
sled dogs.
she looks over and says, sled will run you 100 gold.
100 gold for a sled with the food.
Roll
and
insight. Roll insight.
The dog. Insight.
Yeah.
Insight. All right.
What'd you get?
16.
Sled shouldn't cost any more than 20 gold.
Okay. What about 100 gold for 2 sled dogs and a sled and 100 pounds of food?
Roll persuasion.
Hmm.
She looks over you and says, 125. And you got it.
I guess we lost you.
Yeah, I think we got cut off
I
there.
was
I
trying
was
to
like,
think-
was it me? No, everyone else
Yeah.
seems to be moving.
Everybody
do I
froze.
say
Kenny, are you
anything?
frozen?
Nope, that
There you
that
are.
was you, Jeff.
There you go.
That
You're
was
back.
you. But
I was the
everybody
one that was
froze,
frozen.
All right,
and I
now
was
start
trying to
over from the
figure out
beginning.
All
if
right.
it was
She
me
says
or-
she
The
said
last
one
we met.
she said 120 she said 125 and you got a deal. And she spits on the ground.
I don't have 125. I've got 105 gold and 8 silver.
Fine. 105 gold it is. Keep your 8 silver.
So generous.
Okay. All right. Deal.
She extends a hand to shake it.
Absolutely.
She shakes your robuddy hand and she looks over and she says, Sefik, get the man his dogs.
I imagine Toot's been watching all of this, and I'm leaning over towards whoever's closest to me. It looks like it might be Ordella. And in Leonard's voice, I say, I play this game to escape inflation.
Love it. I'm coming.
We're almost done.
Oh, I got a puppy.
Yep,
You
you have
got two.
you've got 2 puppies and sled dogs. Yeah. I think that before we break out into a murder them all right now phrase, you found them. You guys can ponder what you're going to do when we gather here next week. I'll put you in front of Torgas. You've managed to get back to the mainland. You've become heroes of Bremen. You found Torga. You've been warned that she's a bit of a bad lady. You don't know exactly what she does that's bad, but it's some sort of mafia thing, basically.
All right.
I got a cutout for demand of the princess.
And we'll pick it up here next week since the princess is demanding and it's 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And we've leveled up.
You guys have leveled up, level 4.
Yay.
You'll be level 4 when we return.
Sweet.
All right, everybody. Till next time.